YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Rob, aka DJ Ville, back with another video. 2020, we made it, new decade. Been watching a lot of videos trying to figure out what would be a cool way to kick off the next decade. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just do a video where I kind of go through some of the best acquisitions, in my opinion, from my collection over the last 10 years. You know, doesn't have to be a fragrance that actually came out within the last 10 years. It could have been a fragrance that came out 25 years ago, but I just acquired it within the last 10 years. Not necessarily the best fragrance, but sometimes there's going to be a number of factors that go into why I think it was a great acquisition. You know, it can be bang for your buck factor. It can be, you know, versatility. It can be smell alone, you know, whatever. I'm going to go through quite a few. I've got some notes because I kind of want to stay on track. May have to split this into two parts because I've got that much, you know, material to go through. But I hope you guys stick through it and hopefully you enjoy it. And I thank everyone that subscribed to the channel. Thanks for sticking around. For anybody watching the video that's new, I hope you would subscribe. And let's get into it. All right, here's a 2014 release from the House of Hermes. This is Terre d'Hermes Eau Très Fraîche. I think a lot of folks are already familiar with this fragrance. Really nice, in my opinion. It's pretty simple. It's like kind of woody, citrus, got a little bit of patchouli, kind of watery. Perfect for the warm weather. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife type fragrance, in my opinion, but for when it's really warm outside, you can't beat this one. Terre d'Hermes Eau Très Fraîche. Sticking with the same house, 2016 release, this is Eau de Marvelous Blue. This is a fragrance that's actually marketed to women, but it's incredible, in my opinion. It's pretty simple. If you read the reviews online, a lot of folks kind of say like, it's, you know, uninspired. It's not really anything spectacular, but it's got this fresh, like salty sea note, a little bit of patchouli, clean vibe to it that I think is just incredible. And when it's warm outside, it just smells that much better on my skin. So I encourage you to check this one out. I think sometimes when a fragrance is marketed to women, a lot of guys will hesitate to go check it out, but check this one out. Eau de Marvelous Blue from the House of Hermes. Here's a 2002 release from the House of Paco Rabanne. This is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme Eau. All right. I initially got this 50 ml. As soon as it came in, put it on skin, wore it. It's like, I've got to get the big bottle. So I ordered a big bottle. I think it's out of production, but you can still find this pretty easily online. Prices aren't outrageous either. So if you know, do a little bit of reviewing on this one. Go to Fragrantica, look at the written reviews on this one. This is one that's got a lot of like really positive reviews. It's not going to knock your socks off. It's kind of simple, but it's kind of got this wateriness along with like this pine green smell that to me is just done to perfection. Not gonna say it's the best in its class, but for what it is, I'm really surprised that it didn't really get any traction when it came out. It kind of came out and then went away and nobody really knew about it, but a really well done fragrance nonetheless. Paco Rabanne Pour Homme Eau. From the House of Etat Libre des Oranges, Remarkable People. I think this is like a 2015 release. It's got this really bubbly vibe to it. I think it's because it's got like a champagne note, but it's like champagne, grapefruit, it's got sandalwood. Really smooth. It's about like 5-6 hours, but like the first 2 hours, I get really good projection with this one. Then after that, it kind of like gets close. But man, this is just a really great smelling fragrance. I don't wear it a whole lot, but if I'm going someplace nice, I'll pop this one on because it's got that uplifting, bubbly feel to it because of the champagne note. So, Etat Libre des Oranges, Remarkable People. Rive Gauche is an incredible fougere fragrance, and I've talked about it in a few videos. But I've got a fragrance in my collection that I enjoy a little bit more, all right? And it's from the House of Penhaligon's Sartorial. this fragrance is incredible to me as far as like what it accomplishes. If you read the, I guess, the creators' like vision of when they made the fragrance and what they were trying to actually capture in the fragrance, you get it. You totally get it. It's like, it's supposed to represent like being at a tailor shop and the smells that are there. And I feel like they totally like hit the nail on the head, straight up. It's like the metal, steam iron, scissors, fabrics. It's just something about it. And this fragrance is pretty much a typical fougere, but it's kind of got like a little sweetness to it because it's got this honey. It's got like some brightness to it. It's got aldehydes in it, and the other usual suspects, but it's just really well executed. And it's not, fougères are not for everyone, but I really think it's really well done. And if you like fougères, you gotta check this one out, all right? From the house of Penhaligon's Sartorial. And I wanna say this is like a 2012, 2010, somewhere in that ballpark release. Going way back to 1990, Balenciaga Pour Homme, all right? I didn't have this fragrance back in the day, but I'm so happy I've got it in the collection now. This is an old school masculine fragrance, powerful, all right? It's the oak moss, it's got patchouli, a little bit of citrus, but it's more just, it's got civet, it's got like a lot of like big, bold notes. But the cool thing is once you kind of get beyond that initial blast of old school masculinity, so to speak, it's got this really smooth, like almost slightly powdery, but just really smooth, smells like big money to me, dry down. And I just really love it. And a lot of the older fragrances, they can be a little brash in the beginning, but the magic is usually in the dry down, and this one is no different. If you are a fan of old school fragrances, you want to have like vintage, like best of the best classic fragrances in your collection, you gotta check this one out, Balenciaga Pour Homme, all right? From the house of Guerlain, L'Instant de Guerlain Pour Homme. Incredible fragrance, incredible. This is one of the fragrances that just smells incredible on my skin. Really bright citrus, it's got anise, a little bit of patchouli, cacao. It just smells incredible. If you've never checked this one out, I don't have the extreme, but this is just the, this is LIDGE, as the acronym that represents this fragrance. Really great fragrance. They've also got like a more extreme version of it, but this is the one I have, and it's just incredible. If you've never checked this one out, highly recommend it. I want to say this is early 2000s. Let me check my notes. Yep, 2004. All right, so from the house of Guerlain, L'Instant de Guerlain Pour Homme, incredible. From the house of Laura Bugiatti, this is Romo Uomo. A lot of folks don't like this one because they will say that it smells too synthetic. I don't agree with that. I mean, some fragrances do have a synthetic smell because they are capturing something that maybe isn't like naturally out there in, nature, but this is basically an orange sickle. And it's if you don't know what that is, that's basically like an orange popsicle with vanilla ice cream on the inside. It's kind of got that exact same smell, but in fragrance form. It's smooth. It's got woodiness in the base. This is signature scent all day long. It's kind of got that 90s, that mid 90s vibe to it. And I want to say this one dropped when 92. It's got heliotrope, sandalwood. Heliotrope has kind of got that sweet cherry almondy type feel to it. Again, it's got anise. So it's a sweet smelling fragrance, but it's really well done. And some people might think that it's kind of dated, but I don't think so. I think this is just, I think it's timeless because it's just one that it just smells nice. I don't think it really has like a time stamp to it, if you see what I'm saying. I mean, it's just well done. I think it's a well done fragrance. I would probably say if you are 30 years of age or up, you would enjoy it. And it's definitely a compliment getter on top of that. So from the house of Laura Bugatti, Romo Uomo. From the house of Cartier, Declaration d'un Soir. As far as value for dollars, smell, quality, this is probably the best one out there, in my humble opinion. It is a true masculine rose. It's rose, of course. It's got like peppery notes to it, kind of a woody base. It's got that perfect yin and yang feel to it. I don't think any guy would feel uncomfortable rocking this rose fragrance. And it's very versatile, believe it or not, where I think rose, people may tend to think of it as being very formal. The way this one is put together, you can wear it more than to just formal events. You definitely date, going out, hanging out. I mean, less would be more in that situation, but I really think that this is a very well executed fragrance, and for the bang for your buck, factor, can't beat this one. Cartier Declaration d'un Soir. When it comes to the note of sandalwood, I'm not an expert, but I've got an incredible fragrance from the house of Elie Saab Essence number 8. I picked this one up last year, actually. So it's a later acquisition in the last decade, but oh my goodness, this one is just an incredible sandalwood fragrance. I mean, it's got a little bit of citrus at the top, but sandalwood is a star. Do your research, check this one out. It's just a smooth, creamy fragrance that's got like lasting power, and it projects. And it's just, I picked this one up, I want to say for between 80 to 100 bucks. I can't remember the exact price. It's kind of hard to find this one. This one pops up every blue moon at Fragrance Net. And as soon as it hits, it's sold out. So if you are interested, kind of keep your eye out on this one. But if you like sandalwood, my goodness, check this one out. Again, I don't know if it's a benchmark at all, but it's really, really well done, and it performs well. And, it's a decent price for what, the original suggested retail price was and what you can cop this one at right now. If you can cop it, at the discounters, you've got yourself a steal. Elie Saab Essence number 8, Santal, all right? Another one from the house of Hermes. This is an 05 release. This is Un Jardin sur le Nil. Really nice, green, watery, kind of musky fragrance that has got mad projection power. Incredible performance. To me, less is more. Again, dropped in 05. If you can cop this one, I highly recommend it. I don't wear it a lot, but if I'm going to like a special event and I'm going to be outdoors, I put this one on. It's got this really natural smell to it. It smells very authentic, very green, just incredible. All right, Hermes Un Jardin sur le Nil. One of my favorite pickups of 2018, Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. All right, man, I don't know for sure what's coming in the future, but a part of me kind of thinks that there's going to be a return to masculine fragrances. This one is a return to masculine fragrances, but modernized. And I think this is kind of gonna, be one of the fragrances that kind of ushers in that new vibe. I think at some point we're gonna get into fragrances, get it moving more towards the masculine side and not being so sweet. I can't say sweetness is gonna fade out because people are gonna always love gourmand fragrances, but I really feel like, the really overly bubblegummy, super candy sweet, almost childish in some occasions type fragrances with men's fragrances, I think that's going to begin to taper off, and I think the masculine fragrances are going to be, going to be the thing of the future. Don't quote me; I could be totally wrong, but I just really feel like we're almost at that point where we're going to start to see that shift. Anyway, this fragrance, incredible, classy, well executed. You've got the typical like masculine feel. You've got like oud, you've got some iris, you've got like lavender in this one, cardamom, just really, really well done. It smells very familiar, and it's also got this pear note. That's the sweetness. When you put it on, it's got this really, really familiar feel to it, and it just smells like $1,000,000, and I'm really happy to have it. I think most of the reviews are positive on this one. I know some people say, it's okay, but for me, man, this has got like the 90s feel to it, but it's updated. That's just my personal opinion, but it's really, really well done, and if you've never checked this one out, you got to check it out. Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. Now, I said the Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme may be the fragrance to usher in the change, but I think if you really look at this, I think this fragrance actually was one of the first fragrances to kind of come out in the classic masculine like structure, so to speak, and do something totally different, and it was way ahead of its time, and that is Tom Ford Extreme. And this one dropped in 07. And it's so crazy because when you smell it, it's like you recognize, like, it's got this familiar feel to it, but it smells totally different. It would almost be like seeing a gangster flick and they don't have the usual suspects playing like the main characters. Let's say the main characters are like Native American Indians or something like that, and you'd be like, what? It just feels different. And what I mean is, typically you might smell like bergamot, lavender, violet, something like that, maybe oak moss, stuff like that in the fragrance with the woody notes, etc. But instead of having that, you've got lemon, you've got like fig, you've got truffle, but it feels like it's a typical masculine fragrance, but like all of the ingredients are just a little different. So that's the crazy thing about it. This fragrance is just slightly enough to the left that I think that when it dropped in 07, it was just a little too forward, and Tom Ford is like notorious for actually being one of the first to do something. And, maybe at some point this fragrance would be really highly revered. To me, it's like average performance, but smell-wise, it's just incredible. All right, my wife doesn't really like it when I wear this one, but I really, really enjoy it. And I'm really happy to have it in the collection. All right, Tom Ford Extreme. I'm so happy to have this house in my collection from the house of Ormonde Jane Man. Incredible signature scent type fragrance. This is like citrus, musk, sandalwood, like pink pepper. It's just so smooth, so well executed. I've got a few from this house in my collection. Now, I'm going to be getting into doing some videos on those fragrances real soon, but this is just one that I can say is one of the best pickups from the last 10 years. And if you've never checked it out, or if you're looking for like a great signature scent that you can wear to work, or you can wear out, out and about running errands, going out with your wife, whatever, it's just perfect. Swiss Army knife type fragrance, just smells like class. Ormonde Jane Man from the house of Ormonde Jane. Check this one out. From the house of Guerlain, Le Bourget. Man, this is like an incredible warm weather fragrance. I mean, Guerlain does fragrances really, really well. This one is no exception. The bang for your buck factor for this fragrance is like through the roof, straight up. If you're looking for a like nice warm weather fragrance that just screams class, you can't beat this one, man. This one is like top of the line. Seriously, it is citrus. It's vetiver, but it's like a grassy vetiver. It's got like a pepperiness to it, so it's kind of got this slightly green, very dry, clean, classy feel to it. If you don't have this one, go get this one. Seriously. You can probably pick this up between like 35 to 45 bucks. Le Bourget, House of Guerlain, incredible. From the house of YSL, this is L'Homme Libre. This is one of the, I guess, less popular flankers from the whole L'Homme line of fragrances. This one is from 2011. This is actually like my favorite one from the line, believe it or not. I know everybody's into La Nuit, the L'Homme, and a lot of people like just L'Homme because of the ginger note. But this one to me, man, is like with the violet leaf. And violet is not one of my favorite notes, but the way they put this one together, the violet leaf, the basil, and like just the overall construction of the fragrance, man, this one is just one. It's kind of got this sporty like vibe to it, casual, but you can dress it up if you choose to. It's just smell wise for me, this one does it for me. Doesn't do it for everyone. I've heard a lot of people say this one is very pedestrian and it's just okay. But for me, I love this one. This is my favorite one of that whole group of fragrances. And I think it's because of the way it smells on my skin. I like the way it smells, but the way it smells on my skin is just incredible. So L'Homme Libre from the House of YSL or Yves Saint Laurent. That's the first half of the video. I'm gonna have to chop it up. Check out part 2. I thank you guys for sticking through the video. We're gonna have a great 2020. I'm gonna be putting out a lot more content, and I'll probably get into just doing like single fragrance videos more than I ever have done, so I can put out so many videos because I've got so many fragrances that I've never really done reviews on, and I think it's time that I really kind of like cut the fat and just make videos just one fragrance for a little while. So I'll be doing that soon. I'm also gonna be doing a winter video. I haven't done one of those yet. I'm gonna knock one of those out for you guys. So got a lot of stuff coming out. Stay tuned and check out part 2 of this video. My best acquisitions from the last decade. Peace.